Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Scott Luton here with you on Supply Chain Now. Welcome to today's special live stream. Today, folks, on Breaking News Now, we're going to be featuring the CEO of a powerful nonprofit that is transforming healthcare delivery around the world to reach everyone. And their noble mission has reached its 25th anniversary. Stay tuned so you can learn more about how you can help and get involved in the mission. But before we get into that interview, I want to share a quick resource with you, right? It's all about sharing resources here on Supply Chain Now. Check out With That Said, which offers an almost weekly digest of resources, tools, and views, as well as our upcoming live shows right here on Supply Chain Now. You can check out the link right there in the chat and make sure you subscribe today. Okay, folks, we got a great segment here today, our featured segment. Let me introduce our special guest here on Breaking News Now. I want to welcome in Dr. Ahmed Ogwell, CEO and President of VillageReach. Hey, Dr. Ogwell, how you doing, sir?
Doing very well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
It is my pleasure to finally meet you. I've been tracking you a little bit since you joined the organization, I think, as President CEO in May. And I'm already your biggest Metro Atlanta fan, Dr. Ogwell. Did you know that?
Well, now I do. Good to have you in the team.
Hey, we try. But kidding aside, I am a big fan of both you and the powerful VillageReach organization that we have had the good fortune to learn more about and collaborate with in recent years. But as I mentioned, you joined as CEO in May of this year, and have had a fast and furious several months. Why was VillageReach a great fit as part of your journey?
No, thanks, Scott, and good morning, good evening, and everything in between, wherever we are watching. Joining VillageReach is really a continuation of my lifelong commitment to health and health equity, particularly serving those who are underreached. In my career, from the Ministry of Health in Kenya to WHO, to the UN Foundation, Africa CDC, and now here in VillageReach, I've lived through a lot of different permutations of healthcare, health emergencies, going through a lot of reforms, some successful, some not so successful,
right,
around the world. And I've seen what happens when people are left behind. I've also seen what is possible to happen when you build health systems to be able to include everybody. So I would like to bring that experience that I've gone through and my vision to VillageReach, and not just to lead VillageReach, but to be a partner to the wonderful colleagues that I work with, partner to the governments that we serve, partner to other communities that are really the impact factor in the work that we do. My vision is very aligned with that of VillageReach, and it's really quite simple. Let's build health systems that are going to be resilient in terms of crisis, systems that are going to every day deliver to everyone, including those who are hardest to reach. So this is what has brought me to VillageReach.
Dr. Ogwell, two quick thoughts. Man, it sounds like you have had an incredible journey across industry, across some powerful organizations. So to bring all of that wealth of experience and expertise now into the VillageReach organization, it sounds like a match made in heaven, my friend.
Well, we are on earth, fortunately, at the moment. Heaven is tomorrow. But really, we are going to do everything to make us as beautiful a place to live on this earth as heaven could be.
Well, and on that point, and kidding aside, I really admire your vision of leaving no one behind, right? And helping every single person out there, especially from a healthcare standpoint, families. And I love that aspect of who you are as a leader, and of course, the powerful element of the VillageReach DNA. All right, so let's talk about this, because VillageReach celebrated its 25th anniversary this year. Let me share. I took a couple statistics from the website, villagereach.org, folks. By the way, go check out villagereach.org. Check this out. 111 million people with increased access to quality health care. 675,000 health workers that VillageReach has supported. What an incredible force multiplier effect. And 14,000 health facilities that have received and sent deliveries of health products through the organization's programs. Wow. Talk about making an impact. So with that in mind, and with the 25th anniversary of the Noble Mission in mind, tell us more about the organization, how it started, and give us some of the critical elements of its mission today.
Thanks, Scott. And those numbers tell a story, but behind each and every number is a human being who's been impacted by VillageReach over the last 25 years. And VillageReach began as an idea in crisis. While traveling, our founder, Judge Sato, met with Her Excellency Mama Gracia Machel as she was traveling into Seattle from South Africa with her husband, then the late Nelson Mandela. And they formed a connection. Now, the very next year, in 2000, there was a huge cyclone in Mozambique. Those who may recall, whole villages were wiped out and people were hanging out on trees to stay above the water.
Wow.
Now, seeing that crisis and appreciating that you don't just sweep away people's homes and farms, you also sweep away health facilities. It did occur to Mama Gracia Machel that children will not be having vaccination. Mothers will not have space to be able to deliver safely. Every affected person out there will not be having healthcare. And so she reached out to Blaise, our founder Blaise, and trying to figure out, you work with a telecommunications company, how can we be able to help those who are in places that are hard to reach? That was the beginning of a very important journey that resulted in the formation of VillageReach, trying to get health products and services to people who are right out there and not able to access it because there was no infrastructure that could be able to deliver it. So our work began 25 years ago in one province in Mozambique, a very difficult to reach province as a result of this very bad climate event. But we have grown from that one event. Today, we have worked in over 26 countries on the continent of Africa and beyond, by the way. And we have established offices in at least 4 countries and counting. And we have certain roots in which we are grounded as an organization. I'll share a few of those, Scott.
Please.
One is ensuring that we have proper supply chains to deliver health products. And we deliver health products and we bring back samples, for example, for laboratory diagnosis. In this way, the most far-flung health facilities have access to these health products, and we can be able to bring back the samples to the center for proper diagnosis. We ensure that this is not only happening during peace times, but we sustain it even during times of crisis. So this is one very big thing that we ensure continues to happen throughout the work that we do in all the countries. Second one, Scott, is we advocate for integrated delivery of services. We don't want to see these vertical things that you have one disease very well looked after and then other conditions are not serviced at all. When you integrate the supply chain, when you integrate your health delivery, it means that the health system can be able to carry any disease that comes along and the people will be much better protected in that way. So these are some of the things that we do to ensure that legacy that started 25 years ago continues to support and grow access of health to the most underreached.
Dr. Ogwell, thank you so much for sharing more about the genesis of VillageReach and critical elements of the mission. And one of my favorite parts of this story that you told is the power of the supply chain community around the world of enabling and not just healthcare, but any humanitarian aid. And it's really critical. That's one of the most powerful illustrations of how the supply chain world can really change the world we live in.
Right.
And supply chain, of course, is critical so that we can ensure we're providing health care for all around the world, right? We had a great guest that joined us a few years back, Dr. Ogwell, and I reference this often because I think it simply puts a really a powerful thought. No product, no program, right? No product, no program. And
Absolutely.
what does that conjure up in your mind when you hear something like that, Dr. Ogwell?
Oh, I quickly see zero-dose children who've never been vaccinated for any disease, even though the vaccines may be available within their country, within their community. And the availability of the right products to the right communities means that children can be able to grow beyond the age of 5, a very critical age, especially in resource-poor communities. And when those vaccines are made available, which we do, when those vaccines are made available, those children can then have a fair shot at life to grow and be productive like others are. The other thing that comes to mind when there's no product, there's no program, is when individuals are unwell. You know, the 70% of consultations will require diagnostics to complete the diagnosis. It will mean going either to the lab or going into for an X-ray or something like that. Now, that 70% means that we must get our samples to the laboratory in a safe way.
Right.
If it is in a far-flung community, it means we need a system that will get the lab sample from the facility to the main laboratory, which may be very far away. And we do a lot of that lab sample transport in a safe way so that we get the right diagnosis being done, and then the communities can be able to get the right management. So I totally agree that if you don't have the right products, you cannot have the right program, and communities cannot have the health that they deserve.
Dr. Ogwell, thank you so much for sharing those powerful illustrations. And folks, stay tuned because we're going to make sure Dr. Ogwell speaks to how you can get involved and support the mission. But for now, I want to ask you what VillageReach is working towards as it relates to your 2030 strategy, Dr. Ogwell. What are some important elements of that?
Thanks, Scott. Our 2030 strategy focuses on responsive primary healthcare systems. This is the center of that strategy. And we center it around responsive primary healthcare systems because that is the way to achieve health equity, especially addressing the most underreached. We believe that each and every person needs the healthcare that can be made available to them so they can be able to thrive within their own communities. If you look at the continent of Africa, 52%, we are talking 600 million plus individuals, don't have full access to responsive healthcare services.
Wow.
This is a lot of people. And in our experience, and we've been at this for the last 25 years, Scott, we know that we cannot be able to reach the critical targets that have been set, whether it is SDGs or any of the other targets that have been set on a disease basis. We can't do it unless we ensure that those who are underreached have access, unless we make sure that inequities are addressed and women, children, adolescents who form the majority of the underreached, they have their health addressed properly. So we see ourselves being part of that movement that delivers the best possible health system for the continent of Africa and beyond. And I'll share with you 3 very important qualities that this responsive primary healthcare system should have. First is it must be available when it is needed. It should not just be that during an emergency pandemic, for example, that is when we bring healthcare close to the people. Whenever it is needed, that primary healthcare system must be available. Second is it must be adaptable to the changes so that if there are knocks and pushes within the environment for whatever reason, that system adapts and is able to deliver even better to the communities. And the third thing is that it must respond, and not just once or twice, routinely. It must respond to the needs and the preferences of the communities that are served. One community may prefer healthcare delivery in one way, and another community may prefer healthcare delivery in another way. Let us not bring things they don't understand. We need to bring healthcare in a way that the communities actually understand. So these are some of the things that I think if we do, we'll be able to address that 600 plus million people who don't have full access to the healthcare services that they need in a way that is available to them, in a way that is adaptable to any situation, and in a way that is responsive to their own preferences within their communities.
Availability, adaptability, and responsiveness. If I'm picking up what you're putting down, and going back to the numbers, we've got so much more work to do. It's important to stop and call time out and celebrate the impact we've made in these 25 years that the VillageReach organization has been leading its mission. But to your point, we've got so much more work to do. And that's where I want to ask you this next question, because whether we like it or not, there's been lots of changes in the global health funding environment here in recent months. How has all of that affected your goals at VillageReach?
The whole area of global health means that the world needs to pull together. And for global health to be successful, we must exercise solidarity. And solidarity means that today Scott needs help, Ahmed will help. Tomorrow Ahmed needs help, Scott will help. And there's always the possibility that one person who needs it today will be the one that is giving it tomorrow. We need to pull together. And the traditional donor-driven programs that we see across the resource-poor countries in the world is too fragmented. It does not address the real priorities of those who need it. It is driven by external priorities. It is based on models that are external as well. And we need to ensure that a new way of delivery is implemented on the continent of Africa, especially, so that it ties down priorities of the underreached, it ties down priorities of the communities. Now, to the changes in the global health funding environment, I mean, it was a huge slap, right? And a big slap needs to translate into us waking up and waking up to be able to make the environment of ours better so we don't get another slap. And it is really time for particularly those who work on the continent of Africa, and especially the African countries, they need to start reimagining public health by starting from the resources that they have. I mean, we are looking at a situation of resources being in place but are not being used efficiently. So for me, the first place to start to address this global health funding challenge is to utilize the resources that the African continent has more efficiently. If we push each dollar to be able to deliver the programs using a model that is acceptable on the continent and within the communities that we work, we will achieve more. Now, on top of improving efficiencies, we need to ensure that any support that is coming to the continent is based on local priorities, is based on the local context of delivering service, and is addressed at the underreached of the society. That way, everybody above that is also going to benefit, and the indicators are going to improve. We cannot have a situation where donations come with some restrictions. Donations come with other priorities. For example, Scott, if you have this beautiful, nice shirt that you're wearing now, and someone gives you another 2 shirts and not a trouser, it's very difficult to walk around with 2 shirts and no trouser at all. We need to engage with the communities to know, is it trousers they need? Is it shoes? Is it shirts? And then we provide that in a way that is equitable and in a way that respects the context and the priorities of the people that are being served. So although there's a huge slap that came as a result of the reduction in overseas development assistance and other types of support, it is an opportunity to redesign the systems. It is an opportunity to bring efficiencies into the systems. It is an opportunity to address the priorities of the communities that are being served. It is an opportunity to be more innovative, making things simpler, not making things more complex and more expensive. And it is possible to do. And that's why we as VillageReach are working towards increasing that 111 number that you mentioned. We would like to increase that to 350 million people having access to proper healthcare by the year 2030. It is possible to do, and working together, we are going to reach that target.
Hey, I believe you, and I admire your practical passion, optimism, and despite the environment we're in. I think that's the hallmark of a great leader, because there's been no shortage of friction and challenges in this interesting environment we're in. But we need folks, I think, such as yourself, that see the opportunities more so than the challenges, and that's how we're going to solve them. And I believe you, and you've got our support for sure. But for folks out there that may be tuned in, maybe they're listening to this podcast, or maybe they're viewing this on YouTube or some other places that this will be. I'd love for you, Dr. Ogwell, to speak to them if they're asking themselves, well, hey, how can we help? How can we support what Dr. Ogwell and the VillageReach organization is doing? What would be your answer to them?
The biggest support always starts from understanding the work that we do. And our website, villagereach.org, VillageReach one word, .org, has a lot of that information that will be needed. It also has an easily accessible donate button that you can be able to use to support the work that we do. But more importantly than just the donation is appreciating the message that we bring on the table, that the underreached in resource-poor communities need healthcare just as much as those who have more and that can be able to share. And when that information gets out, when that information is tied to VillageReach as an organization, then we will be going even further than the donation that someone has given, because we will be sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, your workmates, and others. We do this work so that the underreached in the communities can be able to have access to responsive primary healthcare system. So our website, again, villagereach.org, has a section for donation, and we are looking forward to you working with us so that we can be able to achieve the 350 million by 2030. It's possible if we work together.
Undoubtedly. Folks, you heard it from Dr. Ahmed Ogwell. Check out villagereach.org. It's just that simple. And I loved his first piece of advice. Let's seek first to understand the mission, understand the need. You'll find a lot of information on the VillageReach website there. And if you're in position to either serve as an ambassador and getting the word out, or to contribute resources to achieving that 350 million number and helping all those families in need, we invite you to do that too. All right. So I think we've answered my final question to you in terms of how folks can connect with you, Dr. Ogwell. But you travel the world. I admire that. You're in markets. I bet you're hearing stories firsthand. As much gains that we've made from a remote conversation and that virtual conversation standpoint, it doesn't replace the in-person. How can folks connect with you, Dr. Ogwell?
The social media platforms are there. If you go to LinkedIn, you'll find me on Ahmed Ogwell Oma. If you go to X, you'll find me on Laktar, that is LAKTARR 001, and we can be able to connect on any of those two platforms quite easily. Of course, on our website, there will be also a place where you can be able to leave a message. It will reach me, and we can be able to connect. And Scott, the beauty of coming together in solidarity is that it is done as a contribution to you protecting your own self. When your neighbor's house is burning and you come with your bucket and you toss water there and it stops burning, it means that your home is also safe. So your contribution in supporting VillageReach not only supports those who are underreached and in need, but it also supports you to stay healthier, because then we can be able to contain some of these health challenges within a small space instead of getting another pandemic running loose around the world.
Dr. Ogwell, we're going to have you back soon. I'm inspired and I'm moved by your testimony and your words here today, as is Dr. Yanabangi. Great messages on reaching underreached communities with responsive primary health care. Congratulations. Hey, I appreciate you being here. Looking forward to your story. And folks, we encourage you to connect with Dr. Ogwell. We are dropping the LinkedIn profile right there. You're one click away. And most importantly, again, I want to stress this again. I know we get a lot of information thrown at us these days. Venture over to villagereach.org. And if nothing else, become familiar with the need and the mission. And if you feel so inclined, we'd love for you to be a fellow supporter. So Dr. Ahmed Ogwell, CEO and President of VillageReach, honored to have you with us here today on Breaking News Now, which is part of Supply Chain Now. So great to have you here and looking forward to having you back again soon, sir.
Thank you for having me, Scott. It's always my pleasure.
Well, thank you so much, folks. Hope you've enjoyed this uplifting and practical sit-down interview with Dr. Ogwell. I hope you learned something. I know I did. I've got about 2 pages of notes, I think, right here. But folks, you know that the pace of global business velocity is only getting faster and faster. You got to stay informed by turning to trusted sources of sound information and analysis and learn more about the needs out there. We got to keep transforming global business and this world and leave no one behind. So tune in to Supply Chain Now wherever you get your podcast. But for now, with all of this said, Scott Luton challenging you on behalf of the whole Supply Chain Now team. Do good, give forward, be the change, be just like Dr. Ogwell. And we will see you next time right back here on Supply Chain Now. Thanks, everybody.